Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody, and welcome to our premier challenge, Gym Challenge at Psycho Turtle in Pico Rivera, California. I am Dennis Geisler. With me today, Bidoof and Bidoof joining me on the commentary. We are about to get underway. This is round number 1 of our premier challenge. Last premier challenge before Vancouver Regionals. Lots of players here are going to be in Vancouver next weekend. And so there's a lot of last minute prep, last minute getting ready for that. We have Lucy Parker and Vivianna Briano in round number 1 here. Lucy with Iron Crown, Indeedee Female, King Gambit, Urshifu Rabbit Strike, Ogerpon Hearthflame, and Ursaluna Blood Moon. And on Vivianna's side, it is Infernape Lapras, Arboliva, Hisuian Goodra, Galarian Slowking, and Regice. First thing I'm noting here, Vivianna's team is very interesting. Lucy's is some nice solid Trick Roomy, Psy Spam type stuff. Vivianna's team is interesting. The Arboliva is Grassy Seed with Seed Sower, so when it gets hit, it will set that grassy terrain, which will proc its own Grassy Seed. Galarian Slowking is also Terra Dark with Mental Herb and Chilly Reception. So it will very much make sure it does not get taunted out of the Chilly Reception, which will then let Regice get the Ice Body going, let it heal every turn, and help out the Lapras's physical defense as well with that Throat Spray Sing that we have seen a couple of times before. And we are underway. Infernape and Galarian Slowking on Vivianna's side, and it's Indeedee and Iron Crown on Lucy's. Starting off here, this is a fairly standard Iron Crown set. Water Terra Blast, Tachyon Cutter, and Expanding Force. Indeedee does have Psychic as its one attacking move, so it will be able to hit that Infernape decently well, not the Dazzling Gleam as you'll sometimes see. Trick Room, Follow Me, and Helping Hand. Infernape is Fake Out. Overheat, kind of a mixed set. We're going to see the turn 1 Terra here. It's going to be on that Galarian Slowking. Terra Dark will not be able to be hit by any of Indeedee's moves, nor by that Expanding Force. Will help quite a bit as well. Let's see the Helping Hand here. Onto that Iron Crown. And it's going to go for the Tachyon Cutter. Not going to pick up the knockout between the 2 hits. Unless it crits, it does not crit. Good damage there onto the Galarian Slowking, but it does have that Regenerator if it switches out. Overheat onto the Indeedee, gets the critical hit, doesn't pick up the knockout. Nowhere particularly close, and Slowking gets the quick Trick Room off. As you might have seen there, the Iron Crown actually faster than the Infernape, which is a little bit surprising to me, but I think this is a very slow Infernape, to be honest. And this Infernape, that Overheat is its only special move. Use that in tight situations, or just to get that extra burst of damage on that mixed set. The other moves, Fake Out, Shadow Claw, and Close Combat. See Indeedee Follow Me, and take away a big hit potentially onto that Infernape. Going to see the Chilly Reception from Galarian Slowking. It'll swap out, get that Snow down. I really like that move. It's really funny. In any case, Slowking's gonna swap out here. See what it swaps into, Vivianna has on the back. It's gonna be the Hisuian Goodra. Sap Sipper with Assault Vest, Acid Spray, Body Press, Thunderbolt, and Blizzard. Close Combat from the Infernape does land into the Indeedee. We'll pick up the knockout there. I think the Iron Crown goes for last here. Big Expanding Force could be good damage here, particularly with Galarian Slowking out of the way. No, just a Tachyon Cutter again into that Hisuian Goodra slot now. Is not going to get anything done at all. And King Gambit will come in on Lucy's side. Both these players have ways to set up Trick Room, so there's certainly a little bit of push and pull with the damage, or with the speed thresholds. This is an Assault Vest King Gambit, Terra Dragon, Iron Head, Throat Chop, Low Kick, and a Sucker Punch. It is slower than the Infernape, not slower than the Hisuian Goodra. Is information I know, because I get to look at their team sheets. privilege us casters get. In any case, King Gambit, not a whole lot of great targets here. We'll get burst down by close combat or potentially by a blizzard. Infernape's going to swap out here. -2 special attack, -1 defense and special defense. Swap in the Arbaliva. Getting hit here on Arbaliva could be good. It'll reset the terrain to grass. Should be nice to get rid of that expanding force option. I'm going to see the Terrastal onto the King Gambit. Makes it Terra Dragon now. It means it'll be hit pretty hard by a Blizzard from that Hisuian Gudra. Not the hardest hitting Pokemon in the world, but certainly gets the damage done. Gonna go for the Body Press, not for the Blizzard. Went for the 4 times effective move, not gonna get that. Gets Throat Chopped in return, and the expanding force will come out. Good damage onto the Arbaliva, but that's the last time you're gonna get that good damage onto the Arbaliva, as it gets the grassy terrain set up. Stop that expanding force from getting much done, and as we mentioned earlier, Grassy Seed boosting the Arbaliva's physical defense. Already going to be tough to break through. Now the Terrastal has been used for both sides. King Gambit could try to go for a read here. It's going to be the Dazzling Gleam going to hit King Gambit not as hard as I was honestly expecting. And barely anything at all for the Iron Crown. The Blizzard, also not too much damage. No freeze? It's actually a crit on the Iron Crown, but no crit, and Hisuian Gudra is going to drop to a low kick from the King Gambit. That's the nice thing about the Assault Vest. You get to fit on a couple of pieces of tech there. And the Tachyon Cutter going to pick up the knockout onto the Arbaliva as well. That's 2 knockouts there, and leaving Vivianna back with the lead of Infernape and Galarian Slowking. Galarian Slowking, the only attacking moves are Acid Spray and Snarl. It will get the boost for the Terra Dark on Snarl. And we spoke a little bit earlier about the Infernape's move. Slowking, you miss Drifter. Not too much Trick Room left here, I believe. Couple turns left of snow and grassy terrain. Infernape with the Fake Out onto the King Gambit. Slowking's going to go for a Snarl here, potentially to try to shut down the Iron Crown, but that does give the +2 boost to King Gambit's attack with the Defiant. It'd be pretty scary if you don't get rid of King Gambit like right now. Gambit flinches on the Fake Out as we saw, and the Expanding Force on the Infernape going to pick up the knockout. That'll probably be game number 1 here. See what the Slowking can do. It did get the Regenerator boost and a little bit of extra HP from the grassy terrain, but I don't believe it'll be able to knock out the King Gambit. And Trick Room is now down, so a Tachyon Cutter and a Low Kick should be able to deal with the Slowking here. Or just the raw normal type Terra Blast. The small chunk there. See the Low Kick gets done. That'll pick up the knockout, and Lucy Parker with the game number 1 victory. Definitely was a little dicey in the early game for Lucy, but definitely a nice job just kind of saying, okay, yeah, you don't have damage, I have damage, I have King Gambit, I can bring in King Gambit and just kind of run through your team. And the speed tiers here are a little strange because, yeah, it is, Trick Room was set up by Vivianna, but it didn't get a ton of value on that side. Going first just kind of didn't matter all that much, especially when King Gambit also got a lot of boost from that Trick Room. In any case, we'll see if Vivianna wants to change anything up. Did not bring Lapras or Regice last game, and for the fact that Slowking went for the early chilly reception, I'm a little surprised about the fact that we didn't see any of the ice types. it's not a great matchup for those ice types. Ogerpon, Ogerpon Hearthflame, going to hit them pretty hard. Tachyon Cutter hits them pretty hard. Ursaluna, even the Urshifu Close Combat. There's a lot of stuff that does not really allow those ice types to shine, but I don't know. I feel like you need to bring out your main gimmick. I don't know that you can play without it in some cases. In any case, we're getting into game number 2, round number 1 here. Just getting started today on our St. Patrick's Day, Selection Sunday, Premier Challenge Day, week before Vancouver Regionals Day. Gonna be Indeedee Iron Crown once again from Lucy. Same leads from both of them, Vivianna with the Slowking and the Infernape. See if any changes are made here. It was a turn 1, excuse me, it was a turn 1 overheat into the Indeedee last time, which actually went for a critical hit, but just didn't do all that much. Well, the Slowking got Trick Room set up. Fake Out won't work from Infernape, so it has to go for one of its attacking moves, or switch out. You know how it works. Last time it was a turn 1 Terra from the Slowking. This time we're going to get Lucy's Terra in turn number 1. It's going to be Iron Crown, Terra Water. Nice way to patch up a lot of its weaknesses and just go to that fantastic defensive typing of Water. We're going to see Terras from each side, so I believe that will be the Terra Dark Urshifu, or excuse me, Terra Dark Urshifu. I've seen a lot of that Urshifu lately. Terra Dark Slowking, excuse me. Indeedee goes for the Helping Hand once again. Going for the Terra Blast. Terra Blast will be able to knock out... Ooh, it's going for the Galarian Slowking. Do a little over half of its HP there. Infernape going for the Overheat onto the Indeedee once again. Gets the critical hit. Again, that time nearly knocking it out. The Slowking gets the Trick Room up a second time. Bizarre double crits there. I'm fascinated. I'm genuinely fascinated by those crits. Indeedee goes for the Follow Me. Snarl here could be a nice move by the Slowking, and it is a Snarl. Should knock out the Indeedee. Will drop the special attack of the Iron Crown. Was boosted by the booster energy, but Indeedee will go down now, and we'll see what the Infernape gets done. It's going to be a close combat into that Iron Crown. It will not knock out. It does some good damage there. And Infernape still has that Focus Sash up. Expanding Force will break that sash. Should bring it down to 1 HP. Indeed it will. Slowking still standing here and might at least potentially be able to launch out a Chilly Reception here. Especially with King Gambit coming in. Don't necessarily want to Snarl or Acid Spray into that guy. Vivianna, taking the time thinking here. Not a lot of great options. The Snarl, I don't know if it picks up the Iron Crown. I don't think it does, and you don't want to give that +2 boost to a full health King Gambit, even one that you have options against. Infernape's going to swap out here. They'll bring in Arboliva, which will probably get hit for that Seed Sower boost. Gonna be to protect from the Iron Crown. And Slowking is going to switch out with that Chilly Reception, get the Snow up for probably whatever the last Pokemon is, or potentially to bring Infernape back in. assuming that the grassy terrain gets up and Fernape will be able to provide fake out pressure here. Or we'll see what the fourth Pokemon is for Vivianna here in game number 2. The Hisuian Gudra last time. And we'll see what the King Gambit decides to do. It's going to be the Gudra coming back out, so it is the same 4 again for Vivianna. And King Gambit going for the low kick onto the Arboliva. Not a lot of damage, actually, for a super effective hit. It will replace the terrain, make it grassy, and give it that grassy seed defense bonus. And this is a tough spot to be in if you are Lucy. Arboliva has a nice hit onto the Iron Crown with that Giga Drain, and a body press into that King Gambit should knock it out. The Giga Drain from the Arboliva indeed does pick up the knockout and gets a nice little chunk of healing on top of the grassy terrain healing it's already getting. There goes the Iron Crown and a Terrastal for Lucy's side. And Gudra with the body press into the King Gambit. That should knock it out. Ooh, not enough. Just barely not enough to knock it out. And the low kick in return, not going to do too much damage. A little over 8.5. Solid damage, but not solid enough to deal with this Gudra. The King Gambit is Assault Vest, so it can't protect next turn. Shifu comes in as the final Pokemon for Lucy. And barring a miracle, I think Vivianna will bring this one to 3 games here. Both of these Pokemon unable to protect this turn, so not able to stall out the Trick Room. Gudra not going to get knocked out by the Sucker Punch. The Earth Power onto the King Gambit from the Arboliva will finish it off, and the Gudra will go for the Acid Spray onto that Urshifu. Weaken its special defense a bit. We'll probably put it in range for an, well, not an ooh, yes, an Arboliva Giga Drain, as it takes the close combat with that Grassy Seed bonus. And I believe that's the last turn of Trick Room, or maybe one more turn of Trick Room. That was the last turn of Trick Room. Gotten better at just eyeballing that. Either way, I think that this Urshifu is not going to be able to knock out both these Pokemon. Either going to be a Thunderbolt from the Hisuian Gudra, or a Giga Drain from the Arboliva. Gudra gets knocked out, Arboliva should get it done, and we should go to game number 3. I think. Preface it with, I think. There's a Giga Drain. One-hit knockout. Game number 3 on the horizon. Both players brought the same for each of the first 2 games. Are they going to go for that again? Game number 2, Vivianna definitely got the better end of a... Again, that overheat crit certainly helped quite a bit, and the overheat crit looked like it went for a little bit more damage this time. I'm not sure if it does enough damage to get all of the work done that it needs to get done without it. Larian Slowking did go for that first turn Trick Room a second time. And again, we didn't see any of the ice types. So, getting into game number 3. It's like Lucy wants the same leads here. I mean, those leads certainly have worked and also feel like the only obvious leads for each of those players. Indeedee and Iron Crown are a fantastic lead all the time. We're quickly getting into game number 3 here. Round number 1, both these players trying to start out well. We have 18 Masters here today, 19 players total. We have a Senior. We have 18 Masters, so probably going to need to You need wins. You need wins to get to top cut. That's how it works. As always, that 3-win cutoff is gonna be pretty strong. But we'll get in here. Final game of round number 1 here between Lucy Parker and Vivianna Briano. Giving Infernape Slowking once again for Vivianna, and Lucy with the same lead as well. Iron Crown and Indeedee. This is where I guess where we start again. In the last battle, it was a turn 1 crit overheat into the Indeedee and a turn 1 Terra onto the Iron Crown. We're gonna get it again. Another turn 1 Iron Crown Terra. We also saw the Galarian Slowking turn 1 Terra both these past 2 games. That Terra Dark Galarian Slowking has been a consistent, a consistent aspect of these games. And we're gonna get it one more time. So once again, both sides turn 1 Terra. A Tachyon Cutter again into that Galarian Slowking, going to eat the damage pretty well. No helping hand, so it does less than half. And Infernape Overheat once again into the Indeedee, this time no crit, and does not do too much damage. Indeedee will certainly take a Snarl now. Actually going for a no Trick Room that time. It will take a Snarl. Indeedee barely takes that. It will drop Iron Crown's special attack. And Indeedee is the one that gets up the Trick Room this time. So, was it a read to try to get the Trick Room off the board? Curious what the choice was there, what the decision making behind it was, because now you're in a kind of awkward spot. Vivianna's going to take out Infernape, actually. Going to bring in Arboliva on the Trick Room turn. Indeedee going for the helping hand. Boost the Iron Crown just a little bit. But Galarian Slowking going to Snarl once again. Takes out the Indeedee. Drops the special attack on that Iron Crown once again. I believe with the booster energy, it's now the equivalent of -1. That Tachyon Cutter, unless it picks up a crit, should not KO, even with the helping hand. It doesn't. Galarian Slowking going to take it. And now the secret weapon for Lucy, bringing out that Ursaluna Blood Moon. Had not brought it either of the first 2 games, I believe. Now we're seeing it here in game number 3, Silk Scarf, Blood Moon, Earth Power, Hyper Voice, and Protect. Blood Moon, obviously, individually one of the strongest moves out there. Especially with the only significant drawback being you can't use it repeatedly. Acid Spray onto the Ursaluna. The Slowking's actually slower. I guess it is in its name. And Arboliva is also slower than the Ursaluna. And that is going to be a quick knockout from the Arboliva and the Slowking. Nice little play there from Vivianna. And that might secure the game, actually. Briano maybe will be up for a couple more turns. And the final 2 Pokemon for Lucy, which will be the Iron Crown and the King Gambit, will have to hold up against this onslaught from Vivianna. We'll see if it's the Goodra in the back again. It is the Goodra again. And it's going to be tough for Lucy to get out of this one. Arboliva puts down a lot of threat onto the Iron Crown. And we've seen before that 2 Body Presses picks up the King Gambit. 2 more turns of Trick Room. Can't really be stalled out exactly because the King Gambit, again, does not have Protect. And a great move there by Vivianna. Just having the speed tier there. I mean, that's the thing. When you're working in Trick Room, this Ursaluna actually just a little bit too fast. Don't expect it, but just a little bit too fast. The Earth Power onto the King Gambit might go for a pickup between the 2 onto the King Gambit. Does get it done. And now it is just one Lonely Iron Crown remaining. Shouldn't be able to make it work. This expanding force is big, but it's at -1. And it will mean the Arboliva sets the grassy terrain up as well. Which will give it, well, I mean, it'll give everyone passive healing, and it gets the defense boost, which doesn't really do much right now, but still, it means that the Psychic terrain isn't up, which is the most important thing, which means that Expanding Force is weaker. Not much the Iron Crown can do, and I believe it will just be a Giga Drain here to end this one off. Hold. Hold for dramatic effect. Giga Drain finishes off Vivianna Briano with the 2-1 victory in round number 1. Really nicely played after a game 1 that felt like it, I don't know, it went pretty poorly, all things considered. I mean, it was a loss. That tends to be pretty bad. But regardless, turning things around after a game 1 loss, and keeping the same 4 Pokemon throughout. Just staying consistent and getting everything done. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back for round number 2. Don't go anywhere.